Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Leveling Up podcast. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome Anna Spinelli today to the podcast, who is the Chief Procurement Officer and Head of Mobility for DHL. Hello, Anna.
Hello, nice seeing you again.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me, Anna. I mean, we could be talking on this podcast all day with the achievements that you have achieved within your career. Throughout. You've had such an illustrious career within procurement. It's incredible. So we're going to focus on a few areas today, and obviously most prominently what you're currently achieving at the moment with DHL. So I know DHL in December launched their 2030 strategy, and can you share with us what that strategy entails, and how you're going to take your internal stakeholders and your suppliers on that journey with you?
Very happily I'm doing so. So the DHL Group, as you said, launched this strategy. The good thing is that they every 5 years, right, have a new strategy cycle. So in fact, the new one is actually just an adjustment and reinforcement of the previous one. So for us, it's never like a shocking moment, right? It's always a very nice evolution in that sense. So the changes are not so major, and that's actually very helpful for everyone involved, including suppliers and all the employees in the company. So in the 2030, we are emphasizing fundamentally that we want to accelerate sustainable growth, and that's fundamentally the commitment that we made by 2030 to have 50% higher revenue. And for us, it means from the 80 billion euro, more or less, going up to 120 billion euro. It's a very sizable growth, and we're going to do it in so many different ways. There are many plans already on the way, so it's not going to be, again, an impossible objective whatsoever, but in fact, there are very good actions already getting planned and executed. And the one big other change that was made, normally we would have what we call the 3 bottom lines. We want to be an employer of choice, and provider of choice, and investment of choice. And now what we said, we also want to become the green logistics of choice. We realize that obviously we know since a long time, logistics is an industry that is, unfortunately, because of the flying, the transportation on the fleet, quite polluting, so to say. And therefore we said we want to commit, and we are taking many actions on that front, making sure that we're becoming more greener, right, and decarbonizing our footprint. And that's a very important 4th bottom line that was added. And I would say those are probably the most important changes also for our suppliers and for the way we can ask them to join us in our journey. You can imagine this whole ESG topic, right? It has incredible implication for the suppliers and for our procurement organization. And luckily, we are well on their way. If I think about the environmental part, we have done tremendous work. We almost have 40% of our pickup and delivery fleet that have been electrified. So we have electric vans. We have bought a lot of sustainable aviation fuel and made agreements for the next 10 years with several companies already, because we definitely want to have a better footprint also with our airlines. And there is plenty of other work to be done, thinking about packaging, the plastic topics, thinking about buildings, the solar power, the wind. We're buying purchase power agreements with our suppliers. So there is a ton of work that really goes very well along the line of our new strategy. And then obviously on top, we have plenty of social piece, social and governance, the human rights and everything around it. So that's also very important for our company. And as you can imagine, very important for us and for our suppliers. And I really hope all of this will be kind of differentiating our industry, and will make also our supplier very proud to be able to work with us in that way.
Yeah, it looks like you've got, it's great that you've added in the green aspect for your strategy, but it sounds like it's not moving too far away from the core of what you've already been achieving with your suppliers. So it sounds like it's a great adoption to continue with that relationship. Yeah, which is great. And you are really forward thinking at DHL, and I know that you're currently piloting a new AI tool at the moment, and I think you're about to launch a second one as well. Can you share with us which tools you chose to pilot, why you chose to pilot those tools, and what efficiencies you're anticipating to see from within your current processes from adopting those tools?
Yes, so we decided to go for first of all to support the users of our purchasing systems. Like we have a first level support, we have a lot of people busy with this. We said we definitely needed to work on reducing the work, let's say, in that area, and that's why we went into this AI chatbot, and we are using it now since several weeks and actually months now, and we made very good experience also in the adoption, the ability to scale up. It's very big, so it's really becoming quite easy for us, and the colleagues love it because it really gives answer very quick and good answers. So that's super helpful. The second case, it's now focused more on the data quality for our contracts. This time, the AI will really help us to check all the historic cases, also looking into our older contracts, the newer contracts, comparing it to our policy, plenty of standards that we are reviewing because things are changing so much, thinking about all the regulation and the legal requirements that are coming up very often. We are now using this. We are going to use it actually starting next month to be able to scan and identify potential issues, potential risks, and also opportunities maybe for renegotiation of terms, for getting better conditions. It will give us much more transparency with so many thousands and thousands of suppliers. I tell you, this will really help us tremendously.
Yeah.
And yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking, obviously, in DHL, we are always trying to be as safe as possible. So the philosophy for us thinking about AI and obviously everything related also to data has been to have our own language model. So it's based on GPT, but to have data security, we really use our DHL own language. And this is one way for us to protect a little bit from some type of risk that you may say could come.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a sensible way to adopt it, and it sounds like it's going to add so much value. Because of those efficiencies you can see immediately and the support it can give you. Is there plans to adopt more tools?
Yes, for sure. We will continue with this. We have selected 6 or 7, let's say, use cases. We did like a lot of research, and then we did a lot of work internally to choose, because obviously we don't have infinite resources to invest on this. And we identified areas where we think it's definitely going to help us either to be faster, more efficient, or to actually be better at taking decisions, helping us to be smarter on decision making. And the company is supportive, certainly liking it. The suppliers, I'm sure, will benefit from this as well, because it will mean a bit less administration, less work, sometimes with all this very complex forms and maybe 10 different types of forms to answer to the same question just in different sides of a company. So I'm sure this will be beneficial for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds like your team are really open to adopting this in their processes as well. Have you felt that as you've gone through these trials?
Yes, for sure. I think it takes learning, right? It takes the appropriate training. We always have our opportunities. We do the formal trainings, right? Every time we introduce this type of things, like in this case. But we also have a very nice approach. Every couple of weeks, we have this 1 hour where people that have questions on the topic can join in. So it's not like formal, but it truly helps, because we find out also issues or possible ways that we can improve what we're doing. And the teams are very committed to it. So I think it's a good way to get things done, new things implemented without creating a big stress in the organization.
Yeah, that's important, the communication piece, because you want everybody to be on board with what you're trying to achieve. And ultimately, it's not threatening people's roles, it's just improving them, enabling them to be more strategic.
Yes.
Yeah, which is great. How exciting times.
Yeah, you said it yourself. Because we are growing also organization and the revenue we spoke about, you can imagine there will be many more tasks. So there is no fear of having nothing to do, so to say.
And then it's making sure those tools you're adopting can scale with you as you're looking to expand as well. So it's exciting times, certainly with the world of AI. But it seems like you're leading with adopting that technology. So it'd be exciting to hear about where that goes. Yeah, definitely. And you're great at going to events and speaking at events and also on podcasts as well. And you recently did the SIPS Futures podcast. And you've also, I know, spoken at previous events where SIPS have sort of been either involved or led the actual events. Why is it so important for you to support SIPS in this way?
Well, I think when I started many years ago, we didn't really have such an appreciation for the function. It was not something that people would simply choose to go and work in that function. That we didn't even know it existed mostly. And now finally, this is a true profession. It's something that really makes a difference in any company. So it could really play a pivotal role in many of the line items, so to say, in the P&L. And I think the evolution is so important. The ecosystem is changing. What is going around us is changing, and I think we need to keep up with the pace. And the better way to do it is to make sure that we are promoting and working with organizations that have that as their core, right? And SIPS is definitely there to help learning what's going out there and figuring out which are the best practices we can copy with pride, use with our nice colleagues that we have in the organization. And I also like the idea of networking. Maybe sometimes we find additional colleagues that may want to change, go from one organization to another. And the idea of having certified training approach, it's also very helpful for our own team. Feel like they've learned something and now they also can prove it. That's all good for us for sure.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's good to have that for people to strive to achieve, and networking is always important, and it is a great tool. It's a great enabler of that. I think the events certainly, and being able to attend those. I know we've got Procurement Supply Chain Live coming up next week. Yeah, gosh, it is next week. So that's really exciting as well. So we're going to be along with that one as well. And obviously you do speak an awful lot at events. I know you did CPO Crunch last year, and you feature on these podcasts. You have such a demanding day job. Why is it still so important for you to ensure that you spare the time during each sort of calendar year to ensure that you do speak at these events and on podcasts?
Well, yeah, I do think, as I said earlier, procurement is an amazing function. I really love it. It's one of my professional passions, so to say. And I believe also sharing with others what you've gone through, the things that you've learned, mistakes you made, it may really help a tremendous waste time and money for other organizations, other functions. I think the ecosystem is for me what matters all the time. I really believe in having many procurement functions in other organizations that somehow follow maybe similar processes or use the similar formats. And this will make incredible easier life for also the suppliers we work with. And many of the companies I meet are also customers or suppliers, potential customers or potential suppliers. So I'm super happy if I can share some things that we have learned, they work or maybe they don't work.
Yeah, and you're right, it's so important to share that. I think the more people who share those stories in whatever format that may be, whether it's a blog post or whether it is speaking at events, however you feel most comfortable in sharing that, and just learning from one another is so important. Yeah, and clearly we're learning from an expert with yourself as well, which is fantastic.
But I'm really learning a lot. Every time I jump, I'm always taking tons of notes and also doing follow-ups. I had separate conversations, obviously, with many of the colleagues that I have the chance to meet in those events. I invite them, actually. We have our connected leadership calls in the organization with all my managers, senior experts. And very often I have a CPO from other organizations joining because I think they also see that transformation happens everywhere, solutions happen everywhere. So it's not just me or us. It gives comfort to know that we're not alone trying to accomplish new things.
Yeah, absolutely. All the best leaders are continuous learners and open to learning from other people. So it sounds like you really do relish that opportunity to be able to do that with other sort of senior leaders within procurement. And I mean, your role is so demanding. You have a global role. You do an awful lot of international travel. How do you balance that with a work-life balance? Is that even possible? I mean, how do you meet your family commitments when you're jet setting here, there, and everywhere? Which I know sounds glamorous, but it won't be, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness, this is the best question I have been asked several times. I do think it's, I don't have a good answer to it. Super challenging, and basically you always feel a bit guilty no matter where you are, because you don't spend enough time at home, maybe you don't spend enough time at work. Somehow in the middle of this, you always feel a bit guilty. I think my trick, if I can say this, is mostly having a bit of discipline and with myself, right? Having clear rules, small things like, I go in at home and I don't carry my smartphone with me all the time. I don't put it in my pocket. I leave it at the entrance. I leave it in my purse, and I check one time before going to bed in case there are emergencies. And my team knows, everyone knows. If they really have an emergency, they have to call me. Don't send me a text message or whatever, or an email. It will not work. Weekends are weekends. I'm not traveling for business. I'm there for my family. Not to make things I think is important, and really try not to carry all the worries either from the work to the family or from the family into the work as much as possible. But I don't have the perfect recipe. I wish I would have it. Long way before that.
I'm not sure anybody ever does, and I think regardless of whatever senior leader, I think it's making that peace with yourself, isn't it? That ultimately you're working for an organisation where you really are striving to make a big difference, particularly in your new strategy as well with being green. So you were in a really in a very influential role, and so that's really important as well. At the same time, so it's making that I think that peace with yourself to make sure you kind of go, actually, it's okay.
Yes, it's true. And also making sure my colleagues see and understand the situation, and then I do the same for them and with them. We just have to be open and speak about things, and then we always can find a way. I have no doubts.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a great support with your team as well, and everybody really does understand each other's role and the boundaries as well, which is a great way to work as well.
Yes, I have a fantastic team, fantastic colleagues. It's just people that I know they're working very hard, but they also know how to have fun. They also know how to make time for their families. I find amazing combination, and I'm super proud of where I am right now.
Oh, well, Anna, that seems like the perfect way to end our interview. And I'm just thank you again for sparing me the time to come onto the podcast today and sharing particularly your new strategy as well as some of the AI technology that you're looking to implement at DHL as well. It's been really interesting to find out the journey you're looking to be going on in the next sort of 6 years, which is really exciting.
Yes, thank you so much, Paula, for inviting me. It was my pleasure.
No problem. Well, thank you. And if you would like to also feature on the Women in Procurement podcast, our Leveling Up podcast, then please do get in contact. But just even say one more time, thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
Thanks.